Okay, the inspection process and the appraisal process. Important to understand the difference. So inspections, hopefully you've heard me harp on this before. So in my first year, part-time, I sold 9 houses. I think I had 14 under contract to that period. And so I busted 5 of them, and so, and it was because I did a very bad job at this. All of them exploded because of the inspection process. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to set expectations. I didn't know how to negotiate repairs, and it caused me to lose a bunch of money. I slowly got good at it because I lost enough money and did enough deals where I was able to kind of hone it in, kind of come up with these things to say and ask. And so essentially, when you're going into inspection, you have to have this conversation before the inspection. Can't have it at the inspection, can't have it after the inspection. Before the inspection. Normally, you really want to have this conversation 2 or 3 times. You want to have it when we're writing the offer, when you meet them, when you're writing the offer, when we're under contract, when we schedule the inspections, at the inspections, and then again before you get the report back. Have it as many times as you can and reiterate what we're looking for. So explain the inspector's job is to turn this house upside down and find everything that is not functioning as it was originally intended. So again, outlets that are loose, that's going to be on the report. Toilets that are loose, that's going to be on the report. Window, 100-year-old window that's painted shut, that's going to be on the report. A fan that wobbles, that's going to be on the report. Everything that is not as it was originally built is going to be on the report. So you might get an inspection report and it's going to be like, oh my gosh. And it's going to feel like there's a million things to do and there's thousands of dollars worth of stuff to fix. All we really care about, all we're looking for, and this is how you explain it to your clients, all we're really looking for are the 5 main functions of a house. We're looking for the roof, the foundation, the HVAC, the electrical, and the plumbing. Those are the only things we really care about. Everything else is what we call deferred maintenance. It's stuff a handyman can fix, right? Stuff every house is going to have. Every house is going to have loose toilets. Every house is going to have this, that, blah, blah, blah. Really all we care about are these things. Windows with broken seals, right? Stuff like that. Bricks with stair-step cracks and little things around the house that every house is going to have. It's what we call deferred maintenance. So these are the main things we're looking. So again, the concept is these are things that it's reasonable that every buyer is going to ask for these things. So we're going to ask for them as well. I tell my sellers this as well to set their expectations during the inspection period. Hey, because sometimes sellers can get upset when they get an inspection report and it's like, I've lived in this house for 10 years and this and that, you don't need to do this and blah, blah. So you kind of have to set that expectation too. It's like, hey, this inspector's going to come in and find things you didn't even know existed in this house. Everything. That's their job. They're justifying their fee. They're covering their liability. They're going to find everything. Only things we're really concerned about, I'm talking to my seller now, only things we really care about are the roof, foundation, electrical, HVAC, plumbing. Are those in good shape? If those are in good shape, everything else can be negotiated. We'll give here and there, they'll give here and there, but these are the things that if one of these isn't functioning properly, probably gonna have to fix it. Because if this buyer doesn't want it, the next buyer is gonna want it, right? So I tell my sellers that, and I tell my buyers that. And the idea is it reduces all the junk that I don't have to negotiate with, and then it focuses on the important stuff that really needs to be addressed. I've had clients, I've done this, done everything perfect, done everything right, and there's something major wrong with the roof or HVAC, and the seller won't fix it or can't fix it, they don't have the money, and the deal still busts. But 99% of the time, if you set your expectations properly and that seller's agent sets their expectations properly, there's 99% of the time there's middle ground that we can find. Because we only care about the major things. So that's how I explain it. Hey, inspectors are going to turn this house upside down, looking for everything that doesn't function as it was originally intended. All we really care about though, as a home buyer, is really the 5 major functions: roof, foundation, HVAC, electrical, plumbing. Everything else is deferred maintenance, right? If there's something wrong, we're gonna ask for it, but it's not worth busting a deal over. It's not worth losing the house we love over. Now, if the house we love is gonna cost us $8,000 to replace the HVAC the first month we move in, okay, well that's something we need to talk about. But if it's $250 to replace the toilet, we're not going to walk away from that, right? So put it in perspective, set the expectation so they know what we're looking for. That way when that report comes back and it's got 50 little piddly things on it, they don't care, right? They only care about that one HVAC problem that's going to cost $500 to have a HVAC technician come out and fix. We fix it, we move on, we're done. Does that make sense? So it allows them to focus on what's important, forget about the stupid stuff, and then we can negotiate on the important stuff. But if you don't, if you do this long enough, you'll have a buyer do this, so you'll have a buyer do it on your listing, where they put the entire report on the TRR. And they want everything on the TRR addressed, down to tightening the toilet, all this stuff, everything. And what happened there, 99% of the time, some people are just crazy. What happened there is 99% of the time, that seller or that buyer's agent did not set expectations. They freaked out over the inspection, and now the buyer's agent can't control their buyer anymore. They've gone off the rails. The skeleton has popped out from behind the corner. The realtor didn't tell them about that skeleton. Now they're freaking out, and now the deal's gonna explode because they didn't set expectations. 99% of the time, that's why. Not always, some people are crazy, but that's probably because they didn't have the right conversation. So very, very important right here. Another thing I always say after I explain inspector's job, what we're looking for, you can even say on a house this old or this large, whatever it is, even if it's 5 years old, 1,200 square foot house, right? On a house this old or this large, it's not uncommon to see like $3,000 to $5,000 or $5,000 to $8,000 worth of stuff. You don't have to fix it all. When I bought my house, there was stuff on my TRR that we negotiated with cash. 5 years later, I still haven't fixed it. I haven't touched it. It's not important. It doesn't affect my daily use of the house. It was a way to get extra money out of the deal, right? So on a house that's old, you're gonna see stuff. If we went and fixed everything on this report, it's gonna cost us $5-6 grand. But we're not going to, we don't need to. It's a house, it's been lived in. So when you can set that expectation, hey, on a house that's old or on a house that's large, not uncommon to see $3,000, $5,000 worth of stuff, you know? And then when it comes in at $3,000 or $5,000, okay, that's what I told them. If it comes in under that, good, I said 3 to 5. If it comes in over, that means there's probably something wrong and we're gonna address it. So you can actually explain this process, and then bring it home with that, and you've set that expectation for what they can expect to happen during the repairs. I harp on this a lot because A, it costs me a lot of money, but B, this is the most critical point. This is what busts the most amount of deals. And so that's why I always like to, when I was brand new, 50 to 60% chance the deal closes. When I was brand new, right? When I got a deal, no, that was the reality for the first year or so. It's like I got a deal under contract. Okay, knock on wood, don't count my eggs before they hatch. Now, if I get a deal under contract, there's a very, very, very high likelihood, unless there's something major, unforeseen, unpredictable pops up, I'm able to nip all the problems in the bud, not because I'm really good or really smart. I've messed them up enough times, and I can avoid all these things because I have the right conversations. That I can work through most things. And so that's the key. That's why I talk about this the most, is because it will blow up more deals than anything else. And it's avoidable by just having simple conversations up front. Now again, if I don't have this conversation, my client sees this huge report, freaking out, saying, oh my God, you see the report, it's got this and this and this. And then I say, no, don't worry about it. All we really care about is these things. Now I'm backpedaling. Right, and I'm trying to save my face. I'm trying to save face. I'm trying to save the deal. I'm trying to make money. You might have heard me call it commission breath, right? Where I'll just say anything to get my commission, right? They don't trust me anymore. So you have to say it up front when it's not a big deal, so that when the big deal comes up, we've already discussed it. Very important. Okay, so that's the inspection. Appraisals. Important to understand the difference. The inspection is for the buyer, to protect the buyer. Appraisals are for the banks. The appraisal can protect you technically, but it's really there to protect the banks, to make sure they're not lending you more money than the home is worth. And so they do a couple things, appraisals do a couple things, two things really mainly. One, they're going to confirm the value, and they're going to confirm the condition. So they want to make sure it's safe and secure. So if you have a house that has chipped paint and the house was built before 1978, that chipped paint could have lead-based paint in it, it's not safe. If it has broken windows, it's not secure or safe. If it has 2 steps without handrails, 2 or more steps without a handrail, it's not safe. So weird little things that appraisers might call out on a house, it's really to ensure the home is safe and secure, but sometimes they take it a little too far. FHA is They're known for taking this a little too far. VA is known for taking it pretty far. Conventional loans are more standard. You're not going to find crazy stuff. But appraisers can sometimes require things to be fixed. So again, if there's steps that are more than 2 steps, if you have 3 steps going into a basement and there's no handrail, an appraiser might require you to install a handrail. If there's chipped paint on a house that's built before 1978, an appraiser might require you to scrape and paint the house. If there's evidence of foundation, appraisers can sometimes make you get a foundation inspection. So it's for the bank's protection to make sure there's not liabilities and that the value is accurate. That's really what it's for. It's not for the homeowner. The homeowner uses it, they want to know what their value is, but it's there to protect the bank. Does that make sense? If you're buying cash, a lot of times you don't get appraisals. You don't need them. Sometimes they get them because they want them, but you don't really need it because, again, we talked about this last week. As a real estate agent, I'm going to look at the same data an appraiser is going to look at. So I can tell you approximately what it's worth. An appraiser does not make it worth that much money just because they say it's worth that much money, right? A home is only worth what it can sell for. And so if you're just buying a house because you like it, and I, as the agent, tell you I think it's in the range, then there's no need to go spend $500 on an appraiser. But some people do. Some people want to. But important to understand, we're going to get an inspection for your protection to make sure the home's in good shape. There's no hidden things that are going to pop up on you. And then appraisers for the bank's protection to make sure the value is good and to make sure the condition is safe and secure.
I was thinking something, but what if there's a gap of, let's say, really close, like 10,000? So there's 2 options, right? Either the seller reduces the price, or the buyer would have to pay that cash difference, right? To make the difference, right?
Yep. So if an appraiser comes in low, if an appraisal value comes in low, there's a couple options. One is the seller can come all the way down, the buyer can come all the way up, they can meet in the middle, or they can bust the deal. Those are really the options. So sometimes it depends on how egregious the discrepancy is. If it's huge or if it's small, sometimes buyers will, it depends if there's multiple offers or not. It really kind of depends on who has the leverage. If the home was on the market for 1 day and there's 3 offers, seller has the leverage. You don't like the price? I'll give it to the next guy. If it's been on the market for 6 months, no offers, sometimes the buyer has the leverage. So it's a negotiation. But yeah, the options are seller comes down on the price, buyer brings the extra in cash. The bank won't give them the money, so they have to bring them the extra in cash, or they meet in the middle somewhere.